So I logged into my base today, and a creeper was in here, and many Endermen, and it blew up in seconds and has broken my portal and my roof and most of my house that I have in the Nether. And never in a million years did I think that would happen when I came into my portal, because I haven't been into the Nether in some time. I've got no way to relight the portal, and I'm wearing all my important stuff. So I'm going to do a bit of an act of faith, take off all my things, put them in this chest, hope no other, wild creeper thing comes along and blows up this chest. And I'm just going to have to take a leap of faith and die, because there's no way to relight the portal without, I could try taking pieces of wood and go to the lava and wait 5 hours, but realistically, I would hate that. So, here I go, making a leap of faith. Or death, I guess. Oh, gosh. So, I do this kind of thing all the time. I end up in a scenario where things are not ideal, and I do not have an official backup plan, and I cannot figure out any solution other than to just get rid of all my levels and go back. And realistically, it's not that terrible. Because I am a paranoid person, we'll put it that way, I have 1,000 million dependency plans somewhere and everywhere. But I make myself so nervous all the time. I've been told before that it takes active effort to not scare me, because I am a very nervous kind of person. And you see how that just worked out? It's fine. Everything is fine. Totally cool. Nothing bad happened. And what? How? What? Okay, it's not the end of the world. I just wonder if I light this one, where does it go? You know what? That's a question for another day. Anyway, I make myself so nervous all the time. Like, when I was getting ready to start recording this video, I think I had to talk myself into it like 37 million times. I was sitting here thinking of ways to set up recordings and get everything in order. Honestly, far too nervous for what it should be. I just am. And I always have been. And it's not just this aspect of my life, being too nervous to start any kind of social media account. By the way, I've updated the base a good bit. If anybody's interested in that, I don't know, built some walls and stuff. It's coming along. But I've always been it's not just in social media, not posting and never creating an account and never making any friends. Or making friends, but only after years of carefully studying their characters to make sure they are not terrible people. It's like earlier this semester, my professor was like, "Oh, for this course you're going to need a TI-84." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's not a big deal. I guess I'll just have to ask my parents to see if they've got some spare money lying around after I've paid tuition, because, the calculators are expensive." And my parents go, "Oh, well, you could just borrow your brother's." Great stuff. Fine, I'll borrow my brother's. He's got a TI-89. Theoretically, that should be better. But now all the instructions are for a TI-84, and thus far in the semester, it has been incredibly easy for me. I am a person who is decent at math and all things school. It's definitely somewhere where I do well. And that's part of why I'm continuing to do school. But now all the instructions for this calculator are for this other calculator. And thus far in the school year semester, I have been doing fine. Fine. Everything's been easy. Other people struggle and have to go to the tutor center. Not me. That's fine. But earlier this week, I ran into a problem, and I'm like, where are you getting these numbers from? I don't understand. In your example, they're coming out of nowhere. And then I pull up a stat wizard to try and figure out what's going on with that. And it's the same function, but it's got different inputs, and I don't know where they're getting their numbers from or what their numbers are and how they're different from mine. And I'm worrying myself. I'm getting so overwhelmed. And for what? For what? Nothing. At the end of, tomorrow, I'll go into class, I'll look at it, we'll discuss it as a group. I just need to get through the lessons before we get there. Like, just stop worrying so much. Or, like, because I live in America, and it is American, I have to own a car. I don't have a choice. If I want to get to the grocery store, I can't consider walking. It's like 15 miles, like, to a grocery store. I can't not own a car. And I can't just use my parents because they have to go to work, and I can't use anybody else's because they have to go to work or school or whatever too. All at the same time, all different locations. And so I have to own one. So I bought a car. But because I'm very worried about everything, I bought a total, what's known as a beater. It's a terrible car. Terrible car. But I've already bought it. So there's no point in worrying if it's any bad or not. I mean, so far it's run fine. I've gotten down, I've looked at it. It doesn't look terrible on the inside. Most of the time it's waiting and seeing. And I do a lot of needless worrying. Why? I'm just built that way. I just have been forever and always. One time as a kid, another little kid came up to me and was like, would you like to be friends? With same grade, same age, no reason to say no. I said no. To their face. Then watched them walk away and cry. Because I was too nervous. What else am I going to say? So somebody comes up, they've got timed reactions. I mean, I'm going to sit there and react to that? Ooh, terrible. I mean, that's not a proper response. But obviously in the life, you can't just take 20 minutes to respond or 17 years to respond to an email. But it's kind of where I'm at. I mean, you want me to make a phone call? Nah, I'm gonna push that off for like ever. If I can get around it and you'll send me a message in like a portal somewhere, or if I can set things on to auto pay, or yeah, you cannot get me on the phone. I mean, ever. I pay the phone bill, sure, but like, do I use that function? No. Do I text people? Also no. Do I message people on apps? Absolutely not. What, you think I'm gonna just hit up somebody's account out of the blue? That's crazy. That's wild. You want me to link in my other socials from one app to another? I can't be known. You think this account could be associated with this other account? Absolutely not. It's probably part of why I've chosen to be a cybersecurity major. My fears, my anxieties are very central to my personality in a way that they really aren't in other people. And sure, it could be a disorder. Oh yeah, it is a disorder, but yeah. Who's to say that other than my psychiatrist? It's just like that. So I'm trying to burn through this rotten flesh. It's not going good. I just don't want to store it anymore. But it's a critical part of who I am. And it's a critical part I hope to confront on this channel. And part of that is you go off onto the YouTube and all my comments have been lovely. They've been great. I have screenshotted all of my favorite comments, put them onto a document, and read through them all several times. My favorite return commenters, oh my gosh, I've got them in a spreadsheet. I'm like, oof, look at them, look at the statistics. I've got people that like me, and here's the proof. Oh my goodness, it's delicious. But because I'm very anxious, I do things like go onto Social Blade, and because I've only got 5 videos out or so, it's like, oh yeah, over the next month, every single subscriber you ever have gotten so far, yeah, they're all going to leave you. Why? They just are. They're just gonna all unsubscribe. Your views? None of them. Ever. And it's like, of course I want to put these videos out here for me. But also, it is so much easier to kind of confront my fears with this if people actually watch the video. I mean, you post something out onto the internet and it does nothing. That's safe. That's easy, right? That's like, oh well, nobody saw it. Sure, they say in like 30 years, some career person's gonna dig up your profile and like figure out that you said something somewhat problematic and cancel you and never give you a job, but probably not, actually. Most people have something cancelable on them, probably, even if it's circumstantial. And it's just trying to confront these things and looking at my metrics, they're not great. And so I try to remember back to, I've seen a lot of channels that I've watched as a young person and grown into a slightly older person, see them grow and change and talk about their struggles with it. And, there's big questions like, what are you doing with this channel? I'm having fun. I'm trying to confront my fears one tiny thing at a time. It'll take years, but eventually I can be rowdy on here. I mean, I once upon a time was a giggly teenage girl. I would like to become a giggly young adult again, but we'll see if that kind of comes back around. Your safety net kind of disappears on you for a little bit, and suddenly you're like, ooh, maybe life is terrible. Ooh, maybe this whole college thing, maybe I can't afford it. Maybe I need to take a gap year to work. And then at that job you go, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get into all that here. I'm rambling. But my point is, with this channel, eventually I'll be expected to do things like, I don't know, what do all small Minecraft YouTubers do? Start an SMP? Join an SMP? I don't plan on doing that for a very long time. At least unless I'm purposefully invited. For me, I think the way to go is if I do a collab, great. If I don't, that's fine too. I want to get at least, I don't know, a couple hundred on me. Subscribers on me before, I start tipping my toes in anything, because I want to bring something to the table with a collab, It's just, and then I look across the web and I'm like, oh, how would they even contact me? That's crazy. I don't know. I need to stop worrying. I need to just post. In fact, I sat down long and hard and thought about, how should I, set up the video on this? How do I, make my angles more cinematic? How do I try to get my videos higher quality? I don't think that's my issue yet. I need to stop worrying and just post. Just put stuff out there. Because if you never take the chance, it's never going to get you. You're never going to get anything. old Michael Scott and his, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But also, your shots don't get any better if you worry over them a lot. Like, I booted the replay mod and it's crashed 4 times, and gosh. Right in my redstone, okay. It's just going with the flow and posting what I'm able to at that time, and not, going, ooh, I'm seeing some moderate success here. Ooh, how do I raise that? Ooh. And I know big YouTubers talk about this all the time. Oh, it's all in your head. Oh, yeah, you need to get, out of your head and go back to why you're doing this. But, like, why you're doing this isn't exactly synonymous with what you're doing. And I'd like to have some fun with it. We'll see where it goes. But I think that's going to be my post this week. I think this will just be it. My little ramblings on why I'm anxious and stressed, and oh my goodness, if I don't figure out this calculator function by tomorrow. I mean, the assignment's due on Thursday. I'm recording this on Tuesday. Well, I guess it's Wednesday now, but I don't have much to worry over. Like, if we're being honest, like, I could back off my English paper and be fine. I've got 100% for the class, for heaven's sake. What's gonna happen between now and 2 weeks from now? I'm gonna take an L so hard that I get a B? That would be unacceptable, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, if I don't figure this thing out, there will be other opportunities. And if this video doesn't do well, maybe the next one will. And especially if people stop commenting and leaving all that, that would hurt my soul if we're being honest. But yeah, maybe I need to stop compulsively, looking at it because I haven't received good news, or my life is slow dopamine releases, and every time I see one of those, I'm like, oh my gosh. Ooh. And maybe it's beyond time that I actually put myself out there for realsies, not just, I kind of put up a facade a lot, where it's like, oh, I'm generally pleasant, and of course I'm a people person. No, I hate people. I've hated people since the day I was born. In fact, as a kid, in order to get out of, talking to other people, I would make mean faces and then hide behind my mother's leg. Yeah. Putting myself out there is important to me, because I don't want to lead a life where it's like, I don't want to lead a life trapped in fear and anxiety and anxiousness. And you look out in the state of the internet and it really doesn't help. And you look out into the state of United States politics and the news and you're like, oh my God, this is terrible. Everything is awful. And some of it is, some of it isn't. There's good, there's bad, there's ugly, but importantly, I need to make space for me to have fun. Silly, dumb fun. The kind where you can't stop laughing and your laugh sounds kind of manic and crazy, and nobody really knows what was so funny in the first place. So, here's to that. I'll see you guys next week. Maybe when I feel like talking about what's going on with my base a little more, and figuring out more of, I don't know, what pleases me in terms of content making and the direction I want to take it. Goodbye.